All right, I'm 365 Days of Horsemanship, day 51. As you can see, it's a little wet today. And there's also a clinic on. So it was a short day today, but it was a good day. I'm happy with it. I didn't make it up yesterday, which was the first day that I haven't made it up in 50 days. So I was worried about that. But I think it was nice to feel like it didn't really matter. I didn't feel that either of them were offended that, you know, they hadn't seen me in over 24 hours. So that was nice. It just was one of those days where everything got ahead of me, and, you know, it was coming around for, you know, 1 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, I'm happy coming up here at 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's definitely something that will happen, you know, as this project goes on and I end up with those late days. But yesterday it just, yeah, it seemed like a bit of a ridiculous choice. But we came today, and yeah, gave Lawrence his painkillers, which went pretty well. That was nice. And then we worked a little bit on this left hip. And actually, I did feel like we managed to have a good conversation about it. He's very skeptical about the whole area. Very suspicious, very unwilling to allow me to do kind of anything with it at all. I think I need to do a little bit of research on stretch exercises for that area, and just really kind of review the anatomy and work out really exactly where I should be targeting and what exactly it is that might be painful for him there. Because I think he just feels really tight. Those muscles just feel super, super tight. Yeah, and yeah, he's very uncomfortable there. So I started just sort of massaging it, and I just was massaging it until something happened. Either until he started walking or anything else really. And basically it was walking. Basically he would graze and I would massage it, and then at some point we would get to a point where he would start to walk away. And like, definitely in Elsa's world, like, that's a sign that you've pushed it too far, right? That he's taking that moment to walk away instead of having a better focus change. I've got feed all over my hand. But for me, I think if that's all you can get, I think you have to take it, you know, like he's grazing. And I guess in an ideal world where you have a lot of time there, then you just keep trying to be just underneath that threshold for a long time until he feels better, right? And that's more freedom than training, because you're not pushing so much discomfort, right? Like, the more discomfort there is, the more it's training and the less it's freedom. The less uncomfortable it is, the more it's freedom, right? And so definitely it was more training. And I think the big difference for me when I go from freedom to training is like a time thing, you know. For me, I like them to have as much freedom as possible within the limits of what time I have. And definitely I'm starting to feel like I want to speed things up a little bit with him. And yeah, so we worked a little bit with that hip. And actually there was a point where I was massaging the hip and we had a little head shake. And so I stopped, went into flow, and then he looked at me, just like a one little eye look. And so then I moved again to his front, and I stayed in flow with him for a bit. And then he started walking again and sighed and licked and chewed. And I was like, nice. That was a nice little conversation that we had, where I was doing your hip, and instead of you feeling the need to walk away straight away, you had a little head shake instead, just a little bit of release. I stepped away, then you looked at me and I moved. And then we had a nice moment of thinking. And so that I felt like I had been able to carry that conversation and have good timing and react to his responses and feelings. And I was really happy with that. So that was good. That was definitely really good. So I was pleased with that session. Then I went to see Mia. And I decided to go for some, again, more training than freedom. A little bit more like assertive leadership, although it was kind of getting into dominance sometimes, where I was basically working on yields, and I was going like shoulder, hind on the other side, shoulder, hind, shoulder. Just basically going around in a circle just rocking until she moved, rocking until she moved, rocking until she moved, rocking until she moved. And what I was hoping for was for her to stop thinking about the grass, to stop eating, and to do something else. I didn't care what it was. And that happened a couple of times, but like literally just, you know, for a few little steps. And at some point I felt that I was putting more pressure on and more pressure on, until we did finally get like a proper yield where I was rocking on her shoulder, and then she like looked up and actually moved a couple steps and then went back to her food. So I went into flow with her. Then I saw her head come around towards me, so I knelt down and was able to get her to touch her nose to my hand, and that was nice too. And then I went back to flow, and then she looked up, had a little lick and chew, while she had a poo as well. And I thought, okay, that's nice. That was a good moment. We've definitely done a little bit of learning, and I left it there. I was talking actually with a friend yesterday about how I feel like Mia can't handle too much freedom because she has this like dominance addiction, and she needs more dominance. But I think interestingly today, I definitely felt like I came in and I was unpleasant, you know, like my presence was difficult. And even though I caused her to then feel better, or I showed her how to make me less unpleasant, I definitely think that really, I think the gold standard with Mia would be more freedom and patience. I think I don't have enough patience at the moment, to give her the time really. And I think that I need to do that. I think I need to allocate a couple of sessions where we really go all in for freedom, and we do just supportive leadership. We're walking around and we're just making it slightly less comfortable until she naturally has a focus change. I need to allocate a day where I've got like 2 hours to do that with her, you know, and just try to sort of reinforce that and open that up. Because I do think the problem with Mia is, like, even though she's addicted to the dominance, she hates it. You know, every time you ask her to do something, you know, she resents you. So it's quite difficult. Yeah, and that's the thing that I kind of want to balance. So it is tricky. She definitely does need more. She does need to have that like training and that leadership. I think maybe I just need to make more decisions. Maybe I just need to be more supportive than passive with her. And I think it's also important that I make sure I give her that flow as well. It's so easy to get bored with a horse. Like with Lawrence, it's kind of easier to have flow because even when you're in flow with him, he checks in with you more. Whereas with Mia, it's like you can be in flow with her and she's just eating her grass, and like she'll happily, be in that freeze for ages. So, although I think I just haven't really invested that much, like I haven't invested big blocks of time. And the regular little blocks of time are great for Lawrence, but I definitely am feeling that Mia needs longer periods of time at once. I don't know where we're going to find those from in the next couple of weeks, but I'm looking forward to the time when I have a little bit more time every day, and I can invest that time and hopefully use it wisely. So a good day. Definitely still feel like we're making progress. You know, every day, as I say, is another little brick in the foundation of the house, another little learning experience. So yeah.